This crisis did not begin with missiles over the Gulf. It did not begin with oil prices spiking. It did not even begin with revolution. It began with strategy, with oil, with the Cold War, with a king and a superpower. To understand why the United States and Iran now stand at one of the most dangerous crossroads in modern geopolitics, you must go back more than 70 years. Because what we are witnessing today is not an accident, it is history. In the early Cold War era, Iran was a critical chess piece. After World War II, the Middle East became a battleground of influence between the United States and the Soviet Union. Oil was no longer just fuel, it was geopolitical leverage. In 1953, a turning point occurred. A CIA-backed coup helped remove Iran's Prime Minister Mohammad Mossadegh. After he nationalized oil resources, the monarchy was strengthened and Mohammad Reza Pahlavi consolidated power. From Washington's perspective, this was strategic stabilization. From many Iranians' perspective, it was foreign interference. Under the Shah, Iran modernized rapidly. Massive military purchases from the US, westernized education reforms, industrial expansion, close intelligence cooperation. Iran became America's strongest ally in the Gulf. But modernization without political openness created tension. The Shah's secret police suppressed dissent. Economic inequality widened. Religious and traditional sectors felt culturally sidelined. Beneath the appearance of stability, pressure was building, and pressure systems eventually break. By 1978, protests erupted nationwide. Clergy, students, merchants, workers. Diverse groups united against the monarchy. The Shah fled, and into the power vacuum stepped Ruhollah Khomeini. The Islamic Republic was born in 1979. This was not just regime change, it was ideological transformation. The new Iranian leadership rejected Western dominance. They framed the US as the great Satan. They saw themselves not as partners in the global order, but as challengers to it. The alliance was over. The rivalry began. In 1979, Iranian students stormed the US embassy in Tehran. More than 50 Americans were held hostage for 444 days. Diplomatic relations were severed. Sanctions began. Mutual distrust hardened into permanent hostility. This crisis psychologically defined the relationship for generations. For Americans, Iran became synonymous with instability and anti-Western militancy. For Iranians, the US symbolized decades of manipulation and interference. From here forward, direct diplomacy would become rare. Conflict would become indirect. The 1980s brought the brutal Iran-Iraq war. The US tilted toward Iraq. Iran deepened its asymmetric doctrine. Instead of competing head-to-head militarily, Iran developed proxy networks. Hezbollah in Lebanon, militia groups in Iraq, influence networks in Syria, maritime disruption capability. Meanwhile, the US built military bases across the Gulf. The rivalry became a regional chess match. Neither side wanted total war. Both sides prepared for it. In the 2000s, Iran's nuclear ambitions became the central flashpoint. Sanctions intensified. Diplomatic isolation grew. In 2015, the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action temporarily reduced tensions. But the US withdrawal from the deal in 2018 reignited pressure. Sanctions returned. Iran expanded enrichment. Cyber operations increased. Tanker seizures occurred. The Strait of Hormuz became a recurring pressure point. The rivalry evolved into hybrid warfare, economic, cyber, proxy, naval. The temperature never fully cooled. Then came February 28, 2026. A coordinated US-Israeli strike targeted strategic installations deep inside Iran. Reports confirmed that Iran's supreme leader Ali Khamenei, along with senior commanders, was killed. This was unprecedented. Removing a sitting supreme leader is not tactical, it is structural. It destabilizes internal succession. It triggers ideological consolidation. It eliminates deterrence ambiguity. This was escalation beyond signaling. It was a decapitation strike. Iran responded not symbolically but regionally. Missiles and drones were launched toward US assets and allied infrastructure across the Gulf. Explosions were reported in the United Arab Emirates. Air defense systems engaged in Qatar. Near AI Udeid Air Base, Kuwait and Bahrain also faced incidents. Airspace closures followed. Airports suspended operations. Shipping insurers raised premiums. The region shifted from deterrence to active confrontation. Energy markets reacted immediately. Oil prices surged on fears of disruption through Hormuz, a single choke point 20% of global oil trade. Financial markets moved into risk-off mode. Defense contractors rallied. Airlines fell. Emerging markets braced for inflationary shock. For countries dependent on energy imports, including India, the ripple effect could translate into higher fuel prices, currency pressure, and inflationary strain. This is how regional conflict becomes global instability. Both sides now face a dilemma. If Iran escalates further, it risks overwhelming coalition retaliation. If the US escalates further, it risks full regional war. Gulf states are caught in between. China calls for restraint. Russia monitors carefully. Europe fears energy shock. This is no longer bilateral tension. It is a multi-layered geopolitical test. Three scenarios now exist: controlled escalation, missile exchanges but no formal war. Regional spread proxy forces ignite Lebanon, Iraq, Syria simultaneously. Full interstate war if Gulf states directly engage militarily. The deciding factor will not be rhetoric, it will be restraint. And restraint is fragile in moments of revenge. From a CIA coup in 1953 to revolution in 1979, to decades of proxy rivalry, to the 2026 leadership strike, this relationship has evolved through layers of mistrust. Today's crisis is not spontaneous, it is historical momentum. And the world now waits to see whether that momentum accelerates into full-scale war or slows into controlled deterrence. This is not a story about one missile. It is a story about 70 years of strategic choices. And the consequences of those choices are unfolding in real time. If you value structured, historically grounded geopolitical analysis, subscribe. Because in a world full of noise, clarity is power. I'll see you in the next breakdown.